All right, so there's guys out there who go into the self-improvement stuff and they go into it hard, right? They'll do like gratitude journaling, no-fap, meditation, all these 20 different things. But they won't be able to keep up with all of it. Every day they'll miss like one or two, maybe even more things. And then they'll get into a cycle of guilt and shame over it where they're like, oh, well, for sure I'll do it tomorrow. I can't believe I messed up. And then tomorrow will come and they'll miss a few things again. And this cycle will repeat and repeat and repeat. And these guys don't get anywhere. Whereas there's other guys out there who maybe do none of the self improvement shit, right? Yet they seem to be doing just fine in life, great even. I'm going to talk about the difference here specifically. I'm going to talk about the self improvement crisis and how a generation of young lost men are falling into this. I was definitely one of them, right? My experience with it, and I really do hope I can provide a lot of value in this video to help you improve your life for the better. Without further ado, let's dive into it. I remember clearly, I was laying down on my bed. I had my phone out, right? This is back in like high school. And at that point, I was greatly struggling with anxiety so much. I still struggle with anxiety to this day, but I'm in a much better place now. But at that time, it was much worse. Social anxiety, like any sort of anxiety, I was basically struggling with, right? And I had an absolute garbage dating life. And I was so sick and tired of it. I was looking online for some solution, right? And that's when I came across NoFap forums. And this seemed like an actionable step that I could take, right? Because at that time, I was fapping like 3+ times a day, like in my bathroom literally all the time. So I was like, all right, this is something I could try. Let's see where it takes me. So I tried it out. Again, keep in mind, I was addicted before, right? So I let go of that addiction. And life started to improve slowly but surely, right? Socialization became more fun. I wanted to actually go out and do things because I wasn't like cooped up in my bathroom all day, right? So that's positive. That's great. But the issue came that anytime I would relapse, I would fall into like these cycles of guilt and shame. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe I relapsed. And tomorrow I have a date that's going to go terribly now. I won't be able to make eye contact and I won't even be able to talk to people because I don't have my superpowers, like all these things, right? And I start falling into these negative thought cycles, right? And this leads me to the first point. The self-improvement shit should improve your life, not take away from it. Part of the issue here is these people who say, "Oh, you got to be perfect, bro. You messed up a little bit. That's pathetic, bro. Oh, you had a cookie. That's terrible." Like, no, take that thought throw out the window. We don't listen to those people. These people put a train of thought on us that doesn't serve us whatsoever. Look, I can't even begin to tell you how many times I've messed up, how many times I've said I'll do something, I haven't done it, how many times I've relapsed on the NoFap journey. Yet I still went from my starting point in self improvement, which was like I had nothing going for me, right? To now where I've achieved my goal physique and I have a 6-figure job, right? And I was able to do that despite all those cycles of guilt and shame, because some of these self-improvement YouTubers will tout it as, oh, that's productive. You should beat yourself up. Like, no, that wasn't productive at all. It didn't help me at all, right? So I was able to get to the points I wanted to get to despite getting caught in those negative thought cycles, not necessarily because of them, right? Now, okay, so if this is not the path that at least I recommend, at least in my experience, right, where you beat yourself up over every little thing and you do these 20 habits to become super successful, right? If not, it's not that, then what is it rather that worked for me? Well, let's talk about that. So I remember signing up for, I have my laptop open and I signed up for a computer science degree. December of 2019, this was, right? So I signed up for it, sent my application, got an email saying I've been accepted. Well, great. I take a photo of my acceptance letter and I send it to a WhatsApp group that includes like my family members, right? And everyone was very supportive initially, but I could tell from the vibe, like everyone was like, oh, that's great. But I could tell from the vibe, no one really believed that I would actually be able to follow through with it, actually be able to do it. Because I had a horrific academic track record before, right? I failed multiple courses in high school, didn't graduate high school on time, was a super average college student, and I had literally nothing, again, before I had nothing going on in my life, right? That's what drove me to self-improvement. I had nothing going on in my life and nothing to show that the computer science, but that I could be successful in computer science or I could be successful in literally anything, right? I just didn't have a track record of achieving a goal. That was the situation, more or less, right? So anyway, long story short, started computer science December 2019, had a 6-figure job by August of 2021, right? 6-figure job by August of 2021. And what changed everything for me? This is advice literally since the day I've started, right? Since the day that I've started this self-improvement channel. I've talked about this advice. The first video I uploaded, I said this, and I say this like any opportunity I can, because this is truly what changed everything for me, which is focusing on less, right? Focusing on one thing if possible, right? Instead of like these, oh, I'm at these 20 habits that'll make me, a millionaire or something. I just focused on one, which was in that specific instance, it was coding. So I was like, even if I do nothing else productive all day, I don't care what happens. I relapse on no fab, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Is my one thing done? Yes or no? Did I put in the hours to code today? Yes or no? And if I did that, that's a successful day. That's a productive day. So find that one thing that will be life changing for you, right? That if you were to be successful in it, it would have the most dramatic positive impact in your life. At that time, I was dead broke, so it was, just getting more money. And that's what computer science allowed me to do. But think about that. Have that conversation with yourself. Find that one thing and then stick with it, right? Part of the issue here is these people who make videos, 20 habits that made me multi-millions, or 10 habits that got me to be successful. Like, no, take that thought out the window. We don't listen to those people. Again, they put a train of thought on us that doesn't serve us whatsoever. If you're in a similar position to the old me, where you're struggling with even saying discipline with these 4 to 5 habits, but no fat plus others, right? Where you've been relapsing day in, day out, right? Where you've been struggling with staying consistent, right? And you're in a similar position. Like I said, I failed high school course multiple times, didn't graduate high school on time. Was a super average college student, didn't have a track record of success, didn't have a track record of achieving things, right? It's not like I was some Ivy School graduate or something. So I was like over here in terms of like discipline and things like this. So to go from here to over here, which is what, some of the YouTubers will tout, it's too big of a leap. It's too big of a leap. Focus on one thing, do it, and do it well, and that alone will take you so far. It truly was life-changing for me. That's why I'm passionate about this one specific piece of advice, right? That's why I'm passionate about it. And we can see examples of this in multiple instances. Like if we take it to the extreme, think of guys like Mike Tyson, John Jones, right? Like John Jones, like, do you really think John Jones is doing self-improvement things outside? Like I'm not trying to talk shit, right? But look at the type of lifestyle John Jones lives, right? Maybe he does some other things, maybe he meditates sometimes, but right? Like if you're not familiar with John Jones, at Google, you'll see the type of lifestyle John Jones lives. And yeah, he's probably not trying to like do no fap streaks or something like this, right? Similar with Mike Tyson. Look at Mike Tyson's lifestyle, even when he was champion, right? But what was the one thing they're good at? Well, John Jones, a hell of a fighter, potentially the best MMA fighter to ever live. So he's damn good at fighting. Mike Tyson, but his one thing is boxing. He's a damn good boxer. That alone brought him fame, money, all these things, right? So focusing on one thing. Now, I just want to end this video off by talking about actually a few more things, but in the title, I talked about young men specifically, young lost men, right? And I think a lot of men struggle on the masculinity aspect. This is something I struggle with a lot, right? So let me tell you a little story. I was on the SkyTrain, right? I'm sitting on the SkyTrain. SkyTrain, if you're not familiar, that's something in BC. The subway, I guess, is probably a more common term. So I was on the subway, and I'm sitting on the seat. My friends are beside me, right? And this one like really big guy shows up. This is Halloween, by the way, and he has a cigar, like a fake cigar. He's dressed up as like some mobster or something. And I look at my friend, and I'm like, yo, that's a cool cigar, right? That's literally all I said. I didn't even say anything offensive, right? And that guy, he kind of came off as like those super macho guys that like who take anything as an offense type of thing. So he looked at me, and then he just like kept staring at me. I'm like, what? And he's like, apologize. I'm like, apologize for what? And I don't remember exactly how that whole conversation went, but it was starting to get heated. And my friends were like, yo, just apologize. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm sorry. Right. And then we got off the train, and me and my friends, we went wherever we went. I don't even remember now. But the point is, that instance and similar instances have happened throughout my life. But that is one of those instances where I felt like less of a man, or not even like a man anymore. And I have a feeling that other young men, at least who get into self-improvement, they may have had similar experiences where they've had either something like this, maybe something more extreme, something less extreme, maybe something completely unrelated, but you have experiences that make you feel like less of a man, or not like a man at all. You don't feel masculine, so to speak. And the main advice that I want to give on this instance is, if you're anything like the old me, like I know you, right? Like I know you, like we're a lot more similar than you can imagine. Of course, we might be different, like culturally and stuff. Yeah, of course. But we're a lot more similar than you might think. And all I want to say on this end, and I really hope you will take this advice, right, is, but rather, there's two things I want to say here. One is, no one fucking knows what being masculine is, right? Again, these other YouTubers may tout it, some book may tout it, but it doesn't have a defined definition. If it did, then it would be pretty easy to know it's masculine. Okay, do this and this, and now you're a man. Yet many people are confused. Why? Because there is no clear definition. One day, someone would come and, oh, this is what it means to be a man, and then someone else, oh, this is what it means to be a man, and then it's just as like this plethora of opinions is ultimately what it is, right? But the second thing, what I would advise you to explore, for lack of a better time, because again, I don't want to act like that either and be like, oh, this is the answer for sure. This is just what's helped me, and this is what I believe to be true, right? Is that you are already a man. You don't need to look outside of things for anything, right? Because what I thought before is like, oh, if I have money, then I'll be a man. Because if you don't have money, then you can't support your family. That's not very manly. Well, now I have 6 figures, right? But now I'm looking at 7 figures, right? The man with 7 figures can take care of his family more than I can, at least materialistically speaking. Now is he more of a man? Now I got to strive for that. You get what I'm saying? It's a never-ending ladder. Okay, let's take fighting. I'm doing boxing now. I'm doing martial arts now. I feel more confident in my ability to fight now. But there's always someone better. So that person more of a man. And again, this never-ending ladder that we'll constantly climb. It just doesn't make sense, right? It just doesn't make sense, right? So the only thing I would say on this end is, truly, you're already a man. There's nothing to strive for outside, right? Again, when you hear these opinions, you may start to think differently, because it's like, oh, you don't know how to fight? That's not manly. Oh, you don't have money? Oh, you don't have this? That's not manly, bro. You're not masculine. Like, no, right? Because those opinions will constantly change, and new standards will keep being put on you all the time, right? That's a never-ending ladder. That ladder will never end. That ladder will never end. So that's all I got to say on that, man. You are, just as you are right now, you're improving yourself daily. You're putting your best foot forward every single day, right? You're a man. As far as I'm concerned, it's not more complex than that. There's nothing more to it. You are a man as you are, and that's it. And I just wanted this video off by saying, hey, be kind to yourself throughout this process. This is not an easy process whatsoever, right? Again, I started this stuff in high school, starting from NoFap, because I was so deeply insecure, feeling socially anxious, and just anxious about anything all the time, right? All the time, right? Like, literally, my anxiety is so bad. Like, I literally, like, just attending a phone call makes my heart like start beating out of my chest, right? Like, that's how bad it is. Now it's much better now, but again, I still struggle with it to this day, right? And that's what started me on the self-improvement journey. And I was so deeply insecure at that point too, right? My dating life sucked. I was never like the cool kid or anything like this, right? And then on top of that, so I didn't have the approval and validation from school, and even in terms of like family, I was a bit of a disappointment, right? Like, I wasn't good at school, which is a big thing, at least in my family, right? Like, being good at school and all this shit. So I wasn't good at school. I didn't have anything going on for me on that end. So it was very lonely in that sense, because I didn't feel approved from either sides, right? But I kept pushing, and since that point, again, I've gotten my goal physique, which has helped me improve my dating life. I have gotten better results on the dating end, and I wanted to improve my financial side. Definitely have better results on that end too, right? But it wasn't an easy journey whatsoever. I was like, again, these negative thought cycles and all the stuff that I talked about, I got caught up in those all the time, right? Beating myself up over like every little thing, and it was a grind. It was a grind, right? I wouldn't trade it for anything. You know, I'm glad I went through it. I'm happy to be here and be in a position that I'm proud of myself for achieving. And this is not the end. You know, we're going to keep pushing forward. But long story short, be kind to yourself and be proud of yourself every single day for showing up. Because a lot of people will start this journey. Not a lot will see it through the end, right? Now I just want you to imagine for a second. Imagine you take this advice, you run with it, and your dating life is improving day by day by day, right? Your money is increasing day by day by day, and your quality of life is increasing day by day by day. If maybe you always wanted to move out, right? Now you have the money to move out and have all the fun you always wanted to have, right? You got enough money to travel and do whatever it is that you want to do, right? And most importantly, as you improve yourself, your self-confidence and self-esteem is improving day by day by day. Imagine that. And that's the path you're on. Hey, keep working hard. I believe in you, but what I believe doesn't matter. What you believe matters. So I hope you believe in yourself too. And that's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Ultimately, I want this to be our positive little community where we help each other, support each other, and help each other get to the next level in life. So please come join the community. I'll leave my Instagram, TikTok in the description, also somewhere here. Please do support there as well. Please do like, comment, subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Peace.